I'm Theron Ramacharaka. Hopefully this video won't go on forever, but I do have a mission here. And I'm not going to make 2 videos out of this. This is best seen and heard in one sitting. So if you don't have time right now for the whole thing, wait until you do. All right. Now, I just posted a video, which is it's a serious one, but it's a little humorous too, in my opinion. It's called Secret Knowledge on Sale Today. Don't miss out. And the thumbnail says, "Be a master now." Those are not serious statements, but the content of the video is serious, and there's a point to it. Let me just sum it up like this. A friend of mine lately has been emphasizing to me that, when it comes to seeking wisdom, seeking the spiritual path, whatever, there aren't any masters available. There aren't any real gurus available. Well, I agree. And in collaboration with that point, there's this video. So let me get something else straight. Let me straighten something out right now about me. I've had a few people in the past kind of approach me as though, one person said, I explained my initial, original Theron Ramacharaka channel to him, and he said, "So you're a guru?" Well, that's the most direct accusation I've had, or insinuation that I've had, that I'm some kind of a guru. But some other people have kind of, once they get into contact with me a bit, by looking at my videos, and then they became more familiar with me over some years. Not everybody who's done that has come to this, but that I'm about to say, but a couple have. When they find out I'm actually just a regular guy, they seem to be let down. Look, I'm not a guru, I'm not a saint, I'm not a prophet, I'm not an ascended master returned to earth. I'm none of those things. None. I don't have secret wisdom. I don't have secret knowledge. What I put here in this channel is all I've got. I don't make any claims to anything, other than I give you the best I've got, for whatever it's worth. Okay? Now, if you're a seeker, okay, be careful. Make sure you're seeking the right thing in the first place. Because if you're not aiming for the very highest, right from the start, you're going to get distracted. You're going to get bamboozled. If you think that somebody at some weekend conference, or some seminar, or some author that you can buy, whose books you can buy in a metaphysical bookstore, or that somebody, some light worker is going to guide you on a spiritual journey to the pinnacle of introduce you to the Godhead, whatever, you're getting taken for a ride. It's as simple as that. Simple as that. The answers are within you. But how to find them? I can't really tell you that. I can point you inward. I can point you in the right direction here. That's all I can do. To the best of my ability, given the best of my knowledge, which isn't all that much. I just happen to have a gift for laying out what I can, what I do have available, in an organized fashion. Kind of like make difficult things that are, things that are kind of a little obscure and difficult to talk about, lay them out in easy to understand terms. I kind of have a knack for it. That's all. That's all I have. I can't introduce you to God. I'm none of these things. So don't follow me. Just, if you want to follow what I'm doing here, well, good. Good. Apply what's here. But I'm not, I'm not a leader, a shepherd of men. I am not a shepherd of men. If you seek and you look to someone else to guide you, you're going to be a disciple or a devotee, forget it, man. You're getting bamboozled. It's as simple as that. I just posted that video. Have a look at it. There's some real fakery going on in that. There's some bullshit being sold to people. And it's happening all over the world. These so-called masters, gurus, trainers, coaches, they're popping up everywhere. And you know what? That's one of the reasons why people have this false notion that somehow the human species is ascending. I mean, look at all the spiritual stuff going on. People are popping up everywhere. It's like this leap forward. Yeah, they're making money. There's something they're probably doing a lot. I don't know what all their agendas are. I think some of them have some serious problems. Misleading people, pretending to be this and that. You go over to India, there is this Mahavatar, great avatar, like an avatar for avatars over there. Been there for a long time. His name is Babaji. Do you know how many people in India are posing as Babaji? They call themselves Babaji. They're all over the place over there. Just that one example. People from the West, especially, go over there to India, and they think they're going to run into Babaji at the Kumbh Mela festival, religious festival. I believe it's called that, the Kumbh Mela. And they see somebody, with a crowd around them. Oh, that's Babaji over there. Oh my God! And they go over and they wash his feet and so forth. Yeah, that's not Babaji. Let me tell you about what it might be like to actually encounter a real master. You might know about this book. It's pretty popular. It's been circulated around the world a lot. Autobiography of a Yogi. I read a chapter in here on this channel here lately, the Tiger Swami. It makes some good points, and it's an entertaining account. Okay, but you might know about this. If you do, you'll enjoy hearing this again. If you don't, I'm doing this to make a point. You know the difference. What the difference might be like between a fake at some New Age seminar or some Tibetan guy who writes a book called Your Inner Powers or whatever, and you want to be a follower, you donate your money, oh, blah, 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 and the real thing. Okay, now look. I know about this person, Paramahansa Yogananda. He's not alive anymore. But he established, he was a monk in the Swami order, and he was, I'm not going to advertise. I am no longer associated when it came time for me to be initiated into Kriya Yoga by way of his legacy in the United States and in India. In India, it's the Yogata Satsanga Society. I left because such an initiation, according to the tradition, would have made me an eternal disciple of Paramahansa Yogananda's. The guru-disciple relationship, once established through initiation, is supposedly eternal. It's a bond that cannot be broken. Through incarnations, planes of manifestation, I didn't want that. I never met Paramahansa Yogananda, so there was a red flag for me. He's not alive now. See, there was one of the problems. Now, his guru in the 1800s and early 1900s was one Sri Yukteswar, said to be an incarnation of divine wisdom. His was Lahiri Mahasaya. And his was Babaji, the real one. I'm going to read you about Babaji. All right. There's a chapter here. Babaji, Yogi Christ of India. The northern Himalayan crags. This is going to be hard for me to read. I should have got it online here, but I didn't. So I'm going to fumble through this. The northern Himalayan crags near Badrinayan are still blessed by the living presence of Babaji, guru of Lahiri Mahasaya. The secluded master has retained his physical form for centuries. Now, when you go to a weekend seminar, a New Age seminar, and you see this guy sitting in a lotus position, ask him when he was born. You can start right there, you know? What do you think? The guy's been alive for centuries? Probably not. I'm just making a comparison here to make a point to you. But don't fall for bullshit. Perhaps for millenniums. The deathless Babaji is an avatara. The Sanskrit word means descent. Its roots are ava, down, and tri, to pass. In the Hindu scriptures, avatar signifies the descent of divinity into flesh. So this is probably referring to somebody here, Babaji, who has never been like one of us. Probably not. How am I to know? How's anybody to know? All right. Babaji's spiritual state is beyond human comprehension. Sri Yukteswar explained to me. The dwarfed vision of men cannot pierce to his transcendental star. One attempts in vain even to picture the avatar's attainment. It is inconceivable. The Upanishads have minutely classified every stage of spiritual advancement. A siddha, or a perfected being, has progressed from the state of jivan mukta, freed while living, to that of paramukta, supremely free, full power over death. The latter has completely escaped from the Mayic thraldom and its reincarnational round. The Paramukta therefore seldom returns to a physical body. If he does return, he is an avatar, a divinely appointed medium of supernal blessings on the world. An avatar is unsubject to the universal economy. His pure body, visible as a light image, is free from any debt to nature. The casual gaze may see nothing extraordinary in an avatar's form, but on occasion it casts no shadow nor makes any footprint on the ground. These are outward symbolic proofs of an inward freedom from darkness and material bondage. Such a God-man alone knows the truth behind the relativities of life and death. I hope the point is getting made already here. My point. And my friends, who has been, bringing whose words along these lines have sparked within me the desire to pass this on to you guys in this way. Okay. Omar Khayyam, so grossly misunderstood, sang of this liberated man in the immortal scripture, the Rubaiyat. It's poetic. Never mind that. In it, there's a phrase, the moon of delight, who knoweth no wane, is God, eternal Polaris, anachronous never. The moon of heaven rising once again is the outward cosmos, fettered to the law of periodic recurrence. Through self-realization, that term here means what I try to mean when I talk about true selfhood, the establishment of true selfhood, self-realization. I say recognition of the true self, and then realization of it, and then manifestation of it. This is self-realization. Modern psychology uses these terms too, but they don't mean this. Just self-actualize. Don't fall for the bullshit. All right, move on here. Through self-realization, that Persian seer had forever freed himself from compulsory returns to earth, the garden, so to speak, in quotes there, of nature, or Maya. Maya, in large, means illusion of manifested, especially the material plane. How oft hereafter, let's get past this poetic stuff. Christ expressed his freedom in another way. Quote, and a certain scribe came and said unto him, Master, I will follow thee whithersoever thou goest. And Jesus saith unto him, the foxes have holes, and the birds of the air have nests, but the Son of Man hath not where to lay his head. Spacious with omnipresence, could Christ indeed be followed, except in the overarching spirit? Krishna, Rama, Buddha, and Patanjali were among the ancient Indian avatars. A considerable poetic literature in Tamil has grown up around Agastya, a South Indian avatar. He worked many miracles during the centuries preceding and following the Christian era. Pretty long life, huh? And is credited with retaining his physical form even to this day. Babaji's mission in India has been to assist prophets in carrying out their special dispensations. He thus qualifies for the scriptural classification of Mahavatar, or Great Avatar. He has stated that he gave yoga initiation to Shankara, reorganizer of the Swami order, and to Kabir, famous medieval master. The chief 19th century disciple was, as we know, Lahiri Mahasaya, revivalist of the lost Kriya art. Babaji is ever in communication with Christ. Together, they send out vibrations of redemption and have planned the spiritual technique of salvation for this age. The work of these two fully illumined masters, one with a body and one without, is to inspire the nations to forsake wars, race hatreds, religious sectarianism, and the boomerang evils of materialism. Babaji is well aware of the trend of modern times, especially of the influence and complexities of Western civilization, and realizes the necessity of spreading the self-liberations of yoga equally in the West and in the East. But, this stuff gets hijacked. And be careful. People like this brought it here. There was a Swami Vivekananda who brought it here. And that's about it. To the West. That's about it. And they're not alive anymore. So it's like anybody can do whatever they want with it now. Vulgarize it, sell it, misinterpret it. Just people like you and I who get a notion to be a yoga teacher. Whatever. Look at the hand. Just to lead people astray. Maybe make a few dollars while doing it. Gulls my bladder. Where was I? That there is no historical reference to Babaji need not surprise us. The great guru has never openly appeared in any century. The misinterpreting glare of publicity has no place in his millennial plans. Like the creator, the sole but silent power, Babaji works in a humble obscurity. Now, you want to go looking for a master. You want to go looking for somebody who has the truth that lies behind life and death. Good luck. Am I making my point? Or am I? Great prophets like Christ and Krishna come to earth for a specific and a spectacular purpose. They depart as soon as it is accomplished. Other avatars like Babaji undertake work that is concerned more with the slow evolutionary progress of man during the centuries than with any one outstanding event in history. Such masters always veil themselves from the gross public gaze and have the power to become invisible at will. For these reasons, and because they generally instruct their disciples to maintain silence about them, a number of towering spiritual figures remain world unknown. I give in these pages on Babaji merely a hint of his life, only a few facts that he deems fitting and helpful to be publicly imparted. No limiting facts about Babaji's family or birthplace, dear to the analyst's heart, have ever been discovered. His speech is generally in Hindi, but he converses easily in any language. He has adopted the simple name of Babaji, or revered father. Other titles of respect given him by Lahiri Mahasaya's disciples are Mahamuni Babaji Maharaj, which means Supreme Ecstatic Master, Mahayogi, or the Great Yogi, the Trambak Baba,
or Shiva Baba, titles of avatars of Shiva. Does it matter that we know not the patronymic of a fully realized master? Does it? Whenever anybody utters with reverence the name of Babaji, Lahiri Mahasaya said, that devotee attracts an instant spiritual blessing. Now, the deathless guru. The deathless guru bears no mark of age on his body, Lahiri Mahasaya said. This information comes from Lahiri Mahasaya, a disciple, of Babaji. An actual disciple of Babaji. The deathless guru bears no mark of age on his body. He appears to be a youth of not more than 25. Fair-skinned, of medium build and height, Babaji's beautiful, strong body radiates a perceptible glow. His eyes are dark, calm, and tender. His long, lustrous hair is copper-colored. Sometimes Babaji's face closely resembles that of Lahiri Mahasaya. On occasion, the similarity was so striking that Lahiri Mahasaya, in his later years, might have passed as the father of the youthful-looking Babaji. Swami Kabbalananda, my saintly Sanskrit tutor, spent some time with Babaji in the Himalayas. The peerless master moves with his group from place to place in the mountains, Kabbalananda told me. His small band contains 2 highly advanced American disciples. After Babaji had been in one locality for some time, he says, Daradanda Tho, something like that. Let us lift our camp and staff. He carries a danda, or a bamboo staff. His words are the signal for moving with his group instantaneously to another place. He does not always employ this method of astral travel. Sometimes he goes on foot from peak to peak. Babaji can be seen or recognized by others only when he so desires. He is known to have appeared in many slightly different forms to various devotees, sometimes with beard and mustache and sometimes without them. His undecayable body requires no food. The master therefore seldom eats. As a social courtesy to visiting disciples, he occasionally accepts fruits or rice cooked in milk and clarified butter. 2 amazing incidents of Babaji's life are known to me, Kabbalananda said. His disciples were sitting one night around a huge fire that was blazing for a sacred Vedic ceremony. The guru suddenly seized a burning brand and lightly struck the bare shoulder of a chela, disciple, who was close to the fire. Well, Lahiri Mahasaya, upon hearing this, said, "Sir, how cruel!" The reply was, "Would you rather have seen him burned to ashes before your eyes according to the decree of his past karma?" Oh, I'm sorry. Lahiri Mahasaya was present when this happened. Babaji. And he said to Babaji, "Sir, how cruel." And Babaji's reply was, "Would you rather have seen him burned to ashes before your eyes according to the decree of his past karma?" In other words, that's what was going to happen. Right then. Babaji intervened and struck the man's shoulder with a burning ember. Now, with these words, Babaji then placed his healing hand on the chela's disfigured shoulder. "I have freed you tonight from painful death. The karmic law has been satisfied through your slight suffering by fire right now." On another occasion, Babaji's sacred circle was disturbed by the arrival of a stranger. He had climbed with astonishing skill to the nearly inaccessible ledge near the guru's camp. "Sir, you must be the great Babaji." The man's face was lit with inexpressible reverence. "For months I have pursued a ceaseless search for you among these forbidding crags. I implore you to accept me as a disciple." When the great guru made no response, the man pointed to the rock-lined chasm below the ledge. He said, if you refuse me, I will jump from this mountain. Life has no further value if I cannot win your guidance to the divine. Babaji said unemotionally, well then jump. I cannot accept you in your present state of development. The man immediately hurled himself from the cliff. Babaji instructed the shocked disciples to fetch the stranger's body. After they had returned with the mangled form, the master placed his hand on the dead man. And the man opened his eyes and prostrated himself humbly before the omnipotent Guru. You are now ready for discipleship. Babaji beamed lovingly on his resurrected Shela. You have courageously passed a difficult test. Death shall not touch you again. Now you are one of our immortal flock. Then he spoke his usual words of departure, Deradanda Authawu. And the whole group vanished from the mountain. An avatar lives in the omnipresent spirit. For him there is no distance inverse to the square. Only one reason, therefore, motivates Babaji in maintaining his physical form from century to century. The desire to furnish humanity with a concrete example of its own possibilities. Were a man never vouchsafed a glimpse of divinity in the flesh, he would remain oppressed by the heavy Mayic delusion that he cannot transcend his mortality. Jesus knew from the beginning the sequence of his life. He passed through each event not for himself, not from any karmic compulsion, but solely for the upliftment of reflective human beings. The four evangelists, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, recorded the ineffable drama for the benefit of later generations. For Babaji also, there is no relativity of past, present, future. From the beginning, he has known all phases of his life. Accommodating himself to the limited understanding of men, he has played many acts of his divine life in the presence of one or more witnesses. Thus it came about that a disciple of Lahiri Mahasaya was present when Babaji deemed the time to be ripe for him to proclaim the possibility of bodily immortality. He uttered this promise before Ram Gopal Mazumdar, that it might finally become known for the inspiration of others-seeking hearts. The great ones speak their words and participate in the seemingly natural course of events, solely for the good of man. Even as Christ said, Father, I knew that thou hearest me always, but because of the people which stand by, I said it, that they may believe that thou hast sent me. During my visit to Ranbajpur with Ram Gopal, the sleepless saint, he related the wondrous story of his first meeting with Babaji. I sometimes left my isolated cave to sit at the feet of Lahiri Mahasaya in Banaras, Ram Gopal told me. One midnight, as I was silently meditating in a group of his disciples, the master made a surprising request. He said, Ram Gopal, Lahiri Mahasaya said, go at once to the Sasamed bathing ghat. Well, I soon reached the secluded spot, and the night was bright with moonlight and glittering stars. After I had sat in patient silence for a while, my attention was drawn to a huge stone slab near my feet. As the stone, it rose gradually, revealing an underground cave. As the stone became stationary, held up by some unknown means, the draped form of a young and surpassingly lovely woman emerged from the cave and levitated high in the air. Surrounded by a soft halo, she slowly descended in front of me and stood motionless, steeped in ecstasy. She finally stirred and spoke gently. I am Mataji, the sister of Babaji. I have asked him and also Lahiri Mahasaya to come to my cave tonight to discuss a matter of great importance. A nebulous light was rapidly floating over the Ganges. A strange luminescence was reflected in the opaque waters. It approached nearer and nearer until, with a blinding flash, it appeared by the side of Mataji and condensed itself instantly into the human form of Lahiri Mahasaya. He bowed humbly at the feet of the woman saint. Before I had recovered from my bewilderment, I was further wonderstruck to behold a circling mass of mystical light traveling in the sky. Descending swiftly, the flaming whirlpool neared our group and materialized itself in the body of a beautiful youth. I understood at once that he was Babaji. He looked at Lahiri Mahasaya, though Babaji appeared much younger than his disciple, and had long bright hair. Lahiri Mahasaya, Mataji, and I knelt at the great Guru's feet. An ethereal sensation of beatific glory thrilled every fiber of my being as I touched his divine flesh. Blessed sister, Babaji said, I am intending to shed my form and plunge into the infinite current. I have already glimpsed your plan, beloved master. I wanted to discuss it with you tonight, she said. Why should you leave your body? The glorious woman looked at him beseechingly. What is the difference if I wear a visible or an invisible wave on the ocean of my spirit? Mataji replied with a quaint flash of wit. Deathless Guru, if it makes no difference, then please do not ever relinquish your form. Be it so, Babaji said solemnly. I shall never leave my physical body. It will always remain visible to at least a small number of people on this earth. The Lord has spoken his own wish through your lips. As I listened in awe to the conversation between these exalted beings, the great Guru turned to me with a benign gesture. Fear not, Ram Gopal, he said. You are blessed to be a witness at this scene of this immortal promise. And as the sweet melody of Babaji's voice faded away, his form and that of Lahiri Mahasaya slowly levitated and moved backward over the Ganges. An aureole of dazzling light surrounded their bodies as they vanished into the night sky. Mataji's form floated to the cave and descended. The stone slab came down and closed over the cave, as if moved by invisible hands. Infinitely inspired, I wended my way back to Lahiri Mahasaya's place. As I bowed before him in the early dawn, my guru smiled at me understandingly. I'm happy for you, Ram Gopal, he said. Your desire to meet Babaji and Mataji, which you have often expressed to me, has found at last a wondrous fulfillment. My fellow disciples informed me then that the Lahiri Mahasaya had not moved from his position there since my departure at midnight. He gave a wonderful discourse on immortality after you had left, they said. One of the Shailas told me. And for the first time I fully realized the truth in the scriptural verses which state that a man of self-realization can appear at different places in two or more bodies at the same time. Lahiri Mahasaya later explained to me the many metaphysical points concerning the hidden divine plan for this earth. Ram Gopal concluded, Babaji has been chosen by God to remain in his body for the duration of this particular world cycle. Ages will come and go, and still the deathless master, beholding the drama of the centuries, shall be present on this stage terrestrial. There are no photographs of Babaji. They don't work. But there is a sketch.
So, I just did this to make a comparison. If you're seeking and what you're seeking is less, you're going to get less. You're going to get fooled, too. If you're going to depend on somebody, if you're going to follow somebody, if you're thinking about it, when somebody says, oh, I'm a guru, I'm a master, I'm a this, I'm a that, I'm going to help you ascend into the fifth dimension. Here, just breathe like this. Now you're ascended. Make this comparison for yourself. Is the person you're talking to, that person, think of that, and then think of this. We're pretty much on our own for right now. And you know what? While that may sound like a bad thing, maybe it's not. If you're sincere and you have most refined motives that you can have, and you do the work, learn to focus, establish true selfhood relentlessly, and seek to allow divine will, universal will, to flow through you, and you let your only allegiance be to the absolute source, whatever you want to call it, that just is, regardless of whether the cosmos is manifested or not. And understand that the core of your being, the I am in there that does not change, regardless of anything that happens to your thinking, your body, your emotions, any of that, your false ego, your instruments of expression in this world. The one little core part of you that never changes. You need to grasp that, recognize it, realize it, and learn to manifest that. And its attributes. But your will is rooted in there. Your share of universal will, your little individual share of it. You need to connect that part of you, the core of your being, your I am-ness, with the whole core of universal being, and realize that all of that, the existence of all of that, is completely dependent upon that eternal parent that is, regardless of whether the cosmos is manifested or not. Completely dependent on it for existence. Learn to feel it. Love it. And realize that you are rooted in that at that core level. Live it. You seek that. And you can seek that. And I suggest doing it before the powers, the evil influences, whatever you want to call them. I don't like the word evil. They just are what they are. You know, like a lion does what a lion does. A demon does what a demon does. If there are such things as demons. These entities that screw with us and they don't want us to be able to do this. Because if and when we do this for ourselves, they can't touch us. They can't vampire off us anymore. They need our low levels of vibration. We need to surpass that, and I'm telling you how to do it. And you don't need, right now, in this world, I'm saying people like Babaji aren't walking around right now, down Main Street in New York City, right? Saying, hey, I'm Babaji. If somebody says that, don't pay any attention. But I'm suggesting that while it is the truth that we're pretty much on our own with this right now, no, we're never on our own. You aim in the right direction, and you be persistent with it. And you don't get distracted. And the universe will come to your aid. But you have to persevere. And you will find the way. And all I'm trying to do here, just some guy who chose to use the name Theron Ramacharaka for a YouTube channel. That's all that is. I'm giving you what I think might help you. So if you want to look at my stuff, don't be a jackass and just look at it all and think you got it. Like buying books for a library and you leaf through them and then you think you're living the information now. No, you need to do it. Don't rely on anybody else. The answer is inside you. You need to find it. That connection to the eternal. That's it. Theron Ramacharaka here. Be well.